We're here at Spa24. We've arrived for the 24-hour race, and all the manufacturers are here too. 65 GT3 cars. You're going to see a lot of special programming from Drive, but for now, let's get started by taking an up-close look at one of the stories of the 24-hour race, the arrival of 9 McLaren MP4-12C GT3 cars. Let's take an up-close look at the Gulf livery MP4-12C from Gulf Racing and one of the development drivers from the McLaren factory. Rob Bell, we're here in Spa before qualifying, so I don't want to take a lot of time. But you're more than just a driver of this beautiful McLaren. You're a development driver for McLaren, the company.
Yeah, absolutely. I was taken on this year primarily to develop the GT3 racing car. But in my role there, I've done other bits and bobs. So I've worked on the road car also, done some events, and it's good from my point of view to develop the race car, but also get the feel for the road car, because in essence, you know, they're the same machine. So it's really good for me to experience that.
So let's start with the first part. McLaren's gotten serious about this GT3 racing. Remind everyone what GT3 is. It's not unlimited technology.
Yeah, I mean, look, GT3 is first of all for manufacturers to show off their product, and the great thing is they look like the road car, you know, so that's the first and foremost, so you can identify with them. And the idea is that you have a homologated car, so at the beginning of each season you'll say, you know, this is our car, this is what we want to do, and we go racing from there. So essentially that's the blueprint for rules, and you can't then just go off and develop new bits of engine, and because the cost is then huge, and then you get into testing, and so it's very much limited to homologated car that derived from the road car. You know, the engine has to be in the same place, the wheelbase is the same. So in that respect, it keeps the cost down, but then you've also got the racing technology involved, slightly different suspension. A lot of the, in a lot of cases, a little bit simpler than a road car actually, less to potentially go wrong.
And we'll get to it before the end of the interview, but the systems that you specifically worked on to develop for this car were?
I did all the TC work, so traction control, obviously a huge part of endurance racing, because it's not necessarily a huge part of a lap time, but to make the tyres last longer, you can't have wheel spin. So we do a lot of work with traction control to try and minimise wheel spin in the first place, to make the longevity of the tyre work for us. But also I've done a lot of the traction ABS work, which is braking. We can have ABS in this class, GT3 car, which just helps a general driver. Now the street
MP4-12C is all about aerodynamics and balance, but there's some kicks here that have taken it up a notch. Like starting with the front, you've got wider front tires. Looks like the fenders are different.
Yeah.
We've got this little device. What are we doing here aerodynamically?
We're just cleaning it up. So again, within the regulations, you can make various small changes. So, for example, the dive planes here, this just channels air past the front of the car, creates downforce. And also we have cooling ducts here, there and everywhere. So a lot of the things you see are aerodynamics, but also trying to get cooling through the radiators or brakes. So that's the main difference.
Underneath here is the engine. Now, if I'm right, this is the only turbocharged engine in GT3 here.
Yeah, absolutely correct, yeah.
But it's not that different from the engine you've allowed me to drive in the road car. Talk to me, what's going on here?
So essentially, again, it's a standard base. Two turbos, so we've got, the road car's actually got more horsepower, which everyone says, wow, that's crazy, but road cars are built for a set purpose. You can be as extravagant as you want with horsepower, but when we come racing, your certain rules and regulations mean we can't have 1,000 horsepower. But also, if you have 1,000 horsepower, you're going to use more fuel. So the balance of this car, the tuning on this engine is actually to make, again, longevity, fuel consumption at high revs, and also to make it last a 24-hour race.
But it's pretty close to the production engine?
Absolutely spec, so blocks spec, turbos are spec, exhaust pipes are a little bit different because of cooling, but essentially every component on there is derived from the road car. So this is my office.
As cool as the road car interior is?
Absolutely.
I mean, love that wheel.
You should get a shot in here, but then I'll jump in now. Yeah. This is actually I'll make it look, it's easier said than done getting in and out. But effectively, in a pit stop, we're getting in and out as fast as possible. So, to get in, we're jumping in the car. When we get in the car in a pit stop, we'll do our belts up ourselves, but then our teammate can help also. But then you've got a really, really fantastic driving position to start with, which has been, again, you know, well thought out, actually.
Well, and a big part of it, just to elaborate, the whole car was designed for visibility. The A-pillars don't intrude. The top of the fenders are where the turning axis of the front is.
Yeah.
That may help racing.
All those things, I guess, were done way before I got involved as a racing driver, but it all plays into it. You know, if you can see more, then you're more comfortable, then you've got the ability to maybe just push a little bit harder. So all these little things add up.
Let's talk about the controls on the wheel here.
Okay.
You mentioned TC and ABS.
Yep.
Tell me a little about the adjustability of traction
Yeah, absolutely.
control and how you use it.
Yeah, well, this is a thing, again, we worked on, and I suppose it's my little stamp on this car at the moment, which is cool, because I developed the ABS along with Bosch, our partner for the car, and TC is all done in-house. So, for example, we've got positions, let's look at ABS, it's anti-locking brake system. So in a perfect world, we want to run as little as this as possible because, you know, as a racing driver, we want to do this sort of thing ourselves. It's our job to feel the brakes, get your braking point right, and not rely on all the electronic systems. It's there for a backup, and again, more to the point, to help the tyre wear. So we've got position 2 would be the smaller, the least intrusive position, and then as you go up, as the tyres wear, you might need a little bit more help. We can go up, and if it's wet, we'll be in position 8. There are more, but that's as far as we go. And basically, you're making it more aggressive. So as you increase the number, the aggression, the help you get is more and more, which is the same with all of the switches. So it keeps it very simple, as is the TC. So in a qualifying simulation or qualifying run, I'll be in TC2, which is just to help me at maximum. We're talking about the horsepower coming out of this car, out of a hairpin, you whack the power down, it all gets delivered. There's a lot happening, so we want maybe just a little bit of help, but as the tyres wear and you start to feel that little bit of movement at the rear, we'll be TC 4 and 5, more aggression. So when we're putting our foot down, before we've felt it slide, it will be working out. It's just about to slide and it'll stop that.
And these are judgment calls you make in the car.
Correct. This is down to us, our feeling.
Last one. We understand engine mapping, but TPS.
TPS is a throttle position. Now it's more, you think about it more of how the power is delivered. So we've got whatever we've got behind us, 500 and whatever may have on the day because of weather, temperatures or whatever, 525 horsepower. If it's damp and cold and, you know, like Spa can be sometimes, and we were to go to full power, you know, we might not want that 525 horsepower straight away. So they can then alter the mapping so that we can have it just coming in. If you look at a graph, it would just be coming in a little bit later, power delivery a little bit smoother, to maybe just again help. And it works with traction control.
And if you were a driver, which do you go to first for adjustment?
It very much depends. Very much depends on the day and the situation. Generally speaking, we've actually worked really hard to get throttle position as we want it. So now, throttle position 4 is your standard. We're happy with that. It's what I would call a medium option, so it delivers the power relatively quickly. And in that respect, we'll start with TC4 at the beginning of the race, and then we'll judge it. We usually use the traction control because it's the easier one to feel, actually. And that's a really important part of endurance racing.
So all that said and done, the cars come together to be one piece, not separate systems. If I had to task you for an objective for the McLarens for this race, the Spa24, how are you approaching it? What's the deal?
Well, we're here to win.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that.
That's a McLaren ethic.
Absolutely. You know, there's no McLaren personnel who it's not. If you cut everyone in half, it'll say win in the middle. You know, that's what we're here for.
I've seen the trophy on it.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, to finish first you must finish. And a 24-hour race, there's so many things, especially at Spa, can be thrown into the mix with weather, with other, you know, don't forget, we've got 65 other cars out there, all trying to win also, and they're going to do lots of crazy things. So it's stay out of trouble, we're going to be quick, and we're going to bide our time, and at the end of 24 hours, you know, keep our fingers crossed, and we'll be there. We'll be in the
Cross
mix.
our fingers too.